to now jump into going to overview of the track and how this is going to work. So I'm going to share my screen and start walking you guys through what we're doing here. And let's get this out of the way. Okay, so the website is your gateway in, and I'll just start from the start here. So if you're on, you get the website, make sure you log in, and once you're logged in, that's the key to a lot of things, being logged in, so the system knows who you are. And we have a built-in learning management system that will track what you're doing, but you got to be logged in. Okay, so once you're logged in, if you go to my account right up here, and that's going to take you to the specialized things when you sign up, or when you start a course. The learning management system tracks, puts it in here under active courses. There's settings and things here. So go on down here to training, and we have here church transformation boot camp, and that's the first portion of the church growth track. So all right, so you click on that, and then you see what we call the roadmap. And so this is set up with a collapsible, expandable type format. So I can click on this, see, and it expands, and it collapses. And so we have the overview. Now there's track overview. Last night I was updating this, and that's, we can't find that one video with just a short little intro, so I'll have to track that down. But these are notes that you would download for the study purposes along the way. And I'll just go right in here to week one, because we're in week one right now. Okay, so welcome to week one. So what this is, okay, so we've laid it out with all the things that you need to do during the week. So number one, attend the class session. So you're right there, so you can go in and check that off. And this will actually, we want you to actually check things because it's going to keep track of all this stuff. So we have watched the track overview video. Like I said, we have to track that. We have to track that down. That's a joke. But that's just a short thing. Now this, some of our material and some of the videos that are older refer to the church transformation track. That's what we used to call, or last year, what we called this portion. What we decided to do with the church growth track was to, this is, we're going to cover over the next 2 months is the core, the foundation, the principles, the practices. We're going to tell you how to do it, but it's like as if I was going to have you build a bike. I would first show you a bike, and then I would say, okay, here's the parts, and here's what we're going to do. But then you'd have to actually start building the bike, and it would take an hour or two or a day or whatever. So that's what we're going to do. So the first 2 months, we're going to go through the core, the essential principles, the practices, what we're going to do. And then over the next 22 months, we're going to go through actually doing it, launching small groups. And I'm going to show you the actual schedule for that. So, okay, so then you've got, so this week, week one, you've got your assignment, number 3 here, watch the senior leader support videos. So they have kind of an overview of the How to Build a Thriving Church series. These are about 8 to 10 minutes long each, so they're not that long. So the links are right there. So you can just go right into that. You will click on that. The video will pop up and you watch it. And then there's a second series, okay, How to Build a Thriving Church Leader. So that's, again, we start with the focus on the senior leader. It's got to, you're the key, the foundation there. Of course, the Lord is our foundation, but in terms of the human structure, you're the foundation. So you've got videos to watch, okay? And now we've got here download and read the relevant section of the How to Build a Thriving Church Leader notes. So you go back up here at the top and you click on here, overview documents, and you download, and there's a Word version and a PDF version. And I gave a little instruction there. You can print them out, or you can just use the Word version and type it right into on your laptop or whatever, your choice. Then we have this assessment called the Church Health Assessment, which we want you to start, and that's going to take several weeks to get feedback from your people. So there's a video there to tell you how to start on that. Again, it's very short, like a 5-minute video. Then there's the assessment itself, and these are links that you go right to it. And then once you've done it, you invite key people in your church. There's further instructions when you go into that point. So, and that would be, and then once this class is recorded, we'll then put a link up here. Right now it's blank because we haven't finished it yet, obviously. So this recording will be available right here. So that's week 1, okay? And then week 2, so next week, there would be.
Glenn, can I pause for a second?
Yeah.
Now, can you comment a little bit on also introducing your team to this? You know, because some of this process will be something that you'll build your team around. You know, how would you recommend integrating that?
Well, if you can have your core team watch some or all of these videos, that'd be great. They'll be going through, we would assume that you would invite them to take the assessment, the Extra Church Health Assessment. So you're welcome to show them the videos and such. If you have a larger church where you've got like a staff member that has a lot of responsibility and wants to be going through more themselves, we do have a group membership function and pricing, so it's a big discount if you want to add some where they would have their own account. So that's also possible. So I mentioned that. Michael, you want to speak more of that?
Yeah, no, and we encourage you to bring your team through this. It will have great value if you go through it personally, but if you have 4 or 5, you know, maybe even up to 15 people going through this with you, that you're actually meeting with them on a consistent basis and sharing some of the concepts and principles, maybe showing them one out of 3 or 4 of the videos, it's going to have super great effect, because you're really you're not able to build this thing alone. You're going to have to build it with your team. So you might as well have a plan for how to integrate your team into the building process. And so we're recommending that you actually spend time with your leaders talking about a shift in what you're doing, because many of these exercises that we're going to lead you through are actually team exercises as well, where you're going to be looking at your mandate and looking at your vision and mission and beginning to articulate those things more clearly. I think, you know, you might as well think about adding your team to this process from the beginning. All right?
Okay, so I'm not going to go through each week, but they're all a similar structure. I'll just show week 2, where you have, okay, attend the class, video to watch, or there's assignment, read something. Here we have in week 2, we have you start getting our other website tool called Destiny Finder. The tool is called the Profiler. So we've now integrated that with all this. So we're gonna have you start using that. And so again, we have the senior leader first go through it, learn about it if you've not done it yet, then bring your team into it. And then I'll be showing you in a minute, the first actual Destiny group you'll be launching will be with that core team. Video, so it's all there. It's links there, instructions there. Okay, so that's the basic structure for the 8 weeks. Now, let me just give you a taste of what the next 22 months will be like. Okay, let me get this up here. Let me get a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is not completely done yet, but let me show you. Okay, so here's the first 2 months we're in right now. So we're going through, so we've got, you will get this as an activity, we're calling it activity schedule of, you know, what's happening, what the training's going to be, and then what else you'll be doing. So the idea is that you get the core teaching over this first 2 months. Then in May and June, you would launch your first group with your core team. And so we are building from the inside out. So you're going to, now, one thing I want to say is for many of us, this is a huge paradigm shift. Some of the things we'll be talking about, huge shift in how you do church, how you think about ministry, how you think about leadership. So, and I was meeting with a counselor the other day on some stuff, and he said, most people don't do what I tell them. They just don't do it, and so they don't get the results. So we want to encourage you. This is a big shift, and there will be natural resistance in yourself and others to making changes. But if you want to make a change, you've got to be willing to really shift stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you'll launch the first small group over 8 weeks, where you're basically establishing the experience and the core culture of what you want to have. So if you can't have that core experience and culture with your team, you're not going to have it with a bigger group. So you build it with your team and your core group. Then the idea is then over the summer, there's various things to do, but really it's really prepping for the fall. Fall here in the Northern Hemisphere. In September, launching from that group that you did with the core team, you would launch 3 to 5 small groups with those people leading these now. So you led them through one shorter iteration, establish that culture and that core so that they know how to do it. They now launch out and they launch 3 to 5 small groups. Our natural cycle that we're looking at is about 9 months for the small group to run, where then during that time, you're going to help train, and your core team is going to help train these new leaders how to identify, recruit, and train and launch new leaders. So by the time they finish this 9-month small group, they have another set of, each leader has an assistant leader, worship leader has an assistant worship leader that will be ready to then the following September launch that next iteration. So now we're launching 6 to 10 small groups. So the idea is that by that time, you've got the multiplicational dynamic going. If you understand this and it's working, then you can scale from there. But if you can't multiply one group of 10 people into 20, then you can't multiply a church of 60 into 120. You got to be able to do it on the small scale, figure out how to do that, how to support the leaders, how to bring the training and the encouragement and such. We're going to cover all that. Along the way, there will be master classes on things. Some of them you've already heard if you've been tracking with us on Wednesdays, but here's a marriage and ministry master class, awesome class. And then we've got one on prophetic ministry, and then evangelistic, pastoral care, a new paradigm for pastoral care. So there'll be teaching along the way, recordings and things, as well as some live teaching.
Can I butt in for one second?
Yeah, there's so much to cover here.
One thing that you need to understand is that the reason we're emphasizing small groups is like 2 or 3-fold. First of all, we believe that one of the missing tools that really make for success is small groups. The early church met publicly and from house to house. And again, there's something unique that can happen in small groups. If you're really serious about raising up every member, there has to be a context for every member to be raised up. But the problem with small groups, and the reason that many churches have abandoned them, is because they've been primarily care groups or pastoral groups. We're shifting the emphasis of small groups to being more apostolic, to be a training and sending vehicle, to help you actually incubate the destiny of your members in such a way that produces a high-level member mobilization, but doing so in a way that isn't duty-driven, but delight-directed. And I know I threw a lot of stuff at you in that last sentence, but this is essential to our philosophy of ministry. But we don't believe that you can build small group out there until you've built small group, real apostolic small group with your core. In other words, if you're not fostering their destiny in your core leadership team, you're going to have difficulty replicating a true model of destiny discovery and development. And you're also going to have difficulty creating the culture that will sustain that model. And so we'll be explaining this as we go along, but you have to understand this is not just a tool. This is actually a vehicle for facilitating cultural transformation in your church. Okay. And so I really want you to understand that it's not just, oh yeah, do small groups and you'll have a great church. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying help people discover, give them a context to discover and develop their God-given design and destiny, and then raise them up incrementally into higher levels of responsibility. That small groups are the best vehicle to accomplish that outcome. And if you do it first with your leaders, then you will have set the tone and the pace for everyone else. And that becomes a radiating cultural impartation through your whole church. So I'll stop there.
Okay, and we're going to also, we've really tried to think of everything. We'll be adding more and modifying this along the way, but doing a Seeker Sunday once a month, doing outreach in, where is it, Christmas? Okay, so December, okay, again, Americans, Christmas, but okay, Christmas program and parties outreach. Well, you've got to, prep back, back several months earlier, you've got to get your team prep for that. So we're going to try and really give you an actual, not just what to do, but how to do it and when to do it. When to meet with your leadership team, when to meet with your secondary group leaders, how often. Prepping for a Super Bowl outreach. I mean, that's an ideal way to reach unchurched people, is to have your people invite their friends over for Super Bowl and get to know them. So many Christians don't have friendships with non-Christians. So how can we reach non-Christians if we're not interacting with them in real ways? So there's so much here. I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want to show you that we really tried to think of a path, and we're going to walk with you with this weekly class. The format of the weekly class will, where are we here? Yeah, okay. So we're going to do less teaching in the class. It'll be more that you'll be expected to have done the assignment, watched the video, worked on the material, and then, come to the class ready to discuss it. So we're going to actually allow time to really dig in, and different people are going to say, okay, I'm working with this situation in my church, got these leaders, I don't know what to do, or I've encountered this. So we're going to actually talk about that and have you ask your questions and really process stuff. And it's encouraging too. We found this with the church transformation track that we did, that you get to interact with pastors and leaders from around the world, and many people are going through the same stuff. So that's encouraging. So that class format will be a little different. The Wednesday coaching call that we do is a little more, Michael or whoever is shares, and then there's some Q&A. This class format, we want you to be prepared to really dig in the material. You've already encountered it, you've read the stuff, and then discuss it. Okay.
Yeah, and in a sense there, we can actually, through this call, which will be the Thursday morning call, or the other Asia Pacific call that we do as well, that through this call, we're actually going to be doing a lot of hands-on coaching with you guys. So we're going to actually, you're going to be studying midweek, and then we're going to come with questions and comments, and we're going to be actually doing real-time work with you to help troubleshoot some of the challenges you're dealing with and move you forward. Okay, so it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time.
Steve is asking lots of questions. I like it. Okay, so group pricing. Okay, he says he doesn't see the group pricing under the pricing tab. It's in, if you go into, it's in my account under group membership. Secondly, Trevor, this is so good. Thank you. Yay. Okay, how much time do you estimate the work between sessions will require? So, well, in terms of the work to watch a video, to look at a study guide, whatever, that we're looking at 1 to 3 hours a week. But then there's the real work's going to be once you start to shift. And for example, we recommend that you spend approximately half of your time during the week meeting with people individually. Michael, during his heyday, well, now he's probably doing more, but he was averaging around 20 to 25 appointments a week with people. But
those are people development
appointments,
not pastoral care appointments. Okay, you got to get that clear.
Right. So we're going to, so that that's actually meeting to develop people. We have a little simple formula of how to spend that time to maximize it. But that's a lot of time to shift. Like if you're used to spending 20 hours on your sermon prep and then just 4 hours meeting with people, then we're going to say, no, shift that, spend 4 hours on your sermon and spend 20 hours meeting with people.
But but can I interrupt for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Sure. Here's what I want you to understand though, is we're probably going to add we're going to add 2 hours of training, probably roughly average, to your week. And all the other stuff you'll be doing will be the stuff you should have been doing all along.
Yeah.
In other words, you know, we're not saying we're adding 20 hours to your week. No, we're teaching you how to take the other 38 to 50 hours of your week and use it more effectively. And so that you're going to actually be saving time because you're going to be doing things that'll matter and produce results, as opposed to spinning your wheels in ways that have actually been frustrating you and limiting your results. And so that's the good news of this is, yes, you'll be sewing in some time, but we're going to actually teach you how to manage your time as a pastor to the greatest impact and effectiveness. But Glenn, I hate to say this, but I have to get offline and you can wrap up the call. But I have another call with some pastors. So anyway, but may the Lord bless you and keep you. And just as you pray about this, Glenn's available to answer any personal questions offline. And we're going to have, we just are so excited about this and launching it with you. And we believe that God's going to use it. We will be onboarding people periodically. Probably once a quarter, we'll be doing a new onboarding of new members into this track. So it'll be also something that will be evolving over a period of time as well. Although to be on the ground floor is going to be pretty fun. So I'm going to sign.